What's going on, guys? It's your boy Chili, bringing you a little bit of a different video today. So I wanted to kind of do a which should you buy video, where I put together the three available right now in the same kind of price range. I know they're a little bit different. I think this one is $40 or $39.99 plus tax. This one's $49.99 plus tax, and this one's $59.99 plus tax. But they're kind of in the same realm. They're all, starships from Star Wars, or fighter class ships from Star Wars, and they're kind of in the same price range. Is why I kind of wanted to do it, so you can go oh, hey, the X-Wing's actually kind of the better deal, or the TIE Fighter, or the N-1, the Mandalorian's N-1 starfighter, where you can kind of get an idea of what's the best, bang for your buck, I guess you could say, when it comes to, the piece count, the displayability, the playability, if you're trying to get it for a kid, the minifigures, things of that nature. Plus, of course, the price. Which one is the better price? Which, of course, it's going to be the TIE Fighter. And like I said, I got that on sale for $32. I got that for $40, and I got that for the $60 that it, normally costs. But I'm going off of, if you were to order these from Lego.com right now, which I know this one is out of stock on Lego.com, but if you were to be able to order all three of these from Lego.com, which one should you get first if you're working on kind of a budget type deal, where it's I've got the $60, but do I want to spend my whole $60, or do I just want to spend $40, have $20 left over, or $50 and have $10 left over, or $40 and have $20 left over? Or if you find them on sale someplace, which one you should get out of the ones that are on sale, versus this one's probably not going to be on sale for a little while, but at least these two, probably you can find them on sale. Like I said, my Walmart had this for $40 and $32. So, there you go. But yeah, I figured I'd do a little bit of a different video to kind of give you an idea of which one is the best for your money, as far as everything goes. Now, if you haven't watched my other videos on these three sets, I'm not really going to go into depth on the minifigures, because you should go check them out, and that'll give you a better idea of what I think about all the minifigures in these three sets. But starting off with the Mandalorian's N1, you do have Mando in his Beskar armor with an actual face print of, I think you say his name, Pedro Pascal, I think is how you say his name. He does have a jetpack and the Darksaber. Then you have, I think you say her name is Pelimoto, who comes with a wrench, has two faces, and a hairpiece. He has a little waist bandolier type deal on the bottom, if you can see that. And you do get Grogu and a BD droid. With the X-Wing, you're going to get General Dudana, Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker in his Rebel outfit or flight suit, and R2-D2. And in the TIE Fighter, you're going to get the TIE Fighter pilot, the Stormtrooper, and another droid. I honestly don't remember his name. It's N-1 something, but I'll come back to him because I definitely forgot what his name is now. But those are going to be your minifigures. Now, as far as the categories go, with the minifigures, of course, you're getting more out of these two than you are out of the TIE Fighter. So, that's going to be probably, if you're trying to get the minifigures, not the best deal to go with, right? Because you're looking at getting more minifigures for your money. Now, with the X-Wing and the N1, you can get Grogu in a cheaper set. BD1 is kind of, I believe, exclusive to this set. Pelimoto, I think this is the only set she comes in. I'm not sure if she's exclusive to this set or not. There might be another set she comes with. Maybe the Razor Crest, I can't remember. But Mando, you pretty much get him in every set. And I think this is the only one you get in with the dark saber right now. I think. And the jetpack. Maybe the Mandalorian's Forge you get the jetpack. I can't remember on that one either. But it's the only one so far that I know of that does come with the actual printed face on him and not the black head. And then with the X-Wing, you are going to get General Dudana, which I'm pretty sure that he's pretty much exclusive to this set right now anyway. He might have came in an older set, but on the shelf right now, he's exclusively in the X-Wing. You get Princess Leia, which, of course, you know you've probably gotten millions of hers by now. Of her by now, not hers. And then Luke, which he comes in this set. He comes in the AT-AT. And I think that's the only two on the shelf right now that you can get that this particular Luke comes in. You can get like the Return of the Jedi Luke, but that's in the Imperial shuttle. And he is not going to be in his flight gear. He's going to be in his like black robes from Return of the Jedi. And then R2-D2, which you get in how many... I can't even count how many sets. This one does not have the back printing on it, like some of them I have seen do. He does have, you know, full around his like actual head area, but that's the 4 minifigures. So if I had to like make a decision based off of these minifigures on which set that I would go for, based on price, I would probably go with, honestly, probably the X-Wing. Just because when I do my piece count pricing, it's based on 100 pieces for $10. Now, the X-Wing is 474 pieces for $50. So still the price per piece to me and how I do it isn't there. The N-1 Starfighter is 412 pieces for $60. So it's really not there. Like if it had 600 pieces, it would be the $60 mark. But being the 412, I have to kind of knock the N-1 Starfighter out and say for the minifigure part, the X-Wing is going to be the best because you get the 4 minifigures for $50, what you can usually find this on sale for $40 in order to pick it up to get minifigures. Plus you get the General Dudana, who's exclusive, is where this one comes with at least 2 figures that I know for a fact are not, and you can really make your own Darksaber if you want to. Like it's just a like black lightsaber piece. Like it's not that special. They didn't make it like a little bit see-through or put a black hilt on it. Nothing. Which I think it is more of a grayish like silver hilt, but they didn't give it like any special design. You can make your own Darksaber if you want. But as far as those 2 characters, you already get them in a set. So if you're looking for like minifigures that you don't get everywhere, it's only really those 2. And I really don't count the BD droid as a minifigure. So I kind of have to throw him to the wayside too. So you're only really getting 1 minifigure in here that's really important. Is where in this one, I feel like you take out R2-D2 because he's in like everything. And you take out Luke because he's in 2 sets. But right now on the shelf, I believe this is the only way that you can get a Leia and General Dudana in sets that are, you know, still available to purchase at like Walmart or Target or something like that. Not ones that are retired that you can order off eBay or Facebook Marketplace or Macari. But right now on the shelf, you get 2 minifigures in this one that you can't get anywhere else. And you get 1 in this one for $60 compared to $50. So $10 difference. You get 2 minifigures. And I say minifigures in newer sets like this that aren't, you know, retired and all that are $5 a piece by themselves. So if you look at it really with the piece count and the minifigures, the X-Wing being $50 is probably your best bet if you're going for, you know, just minifigures. Because you get $10 in these 2, just in these 2, and then you get let's say $40 here, but if you add in the other two, that's $20 for the minifigs and $20 or $30 for the actual build. With this one, it's 20 or 10, 20, and then you're paying $40 for less pieces. So you get what I'm saying? Like $30 for the build and then $20 for the 4 minifigures, because as I've said, with the way I price things in my mind is piece count plus minifigs. So $470 plus 10, 20, and that gives you like your $50 range, which is a pretty fair price, is where this is 20 and then 40 for less pieces. Like, I know the minifigs are counting the pieces too, but less pieces. I mean, even if you did it that way and you broke these all down to how they piece them out in the inventory in the back of the manuals, you're still getting less for your money for this. So I feel like as far as minifigs go, the X-Wing takes the cake on that. And I'd have to give it like a point for this is the one you should buy compared to the other two. Now, getting the minifigs out of the way here, looking at the displayability of each, you can kind of see they all look rather nice in my opinion. Like the X-Wing and the N-1 Starfighter especially, there was a play feature that shot off, if you could see that. And I hate that play feature because that now means that I have to get up, stop this video, go get it, and put it back in for when I do the playability on each. But I do hate that feature on it, even though it was a nice feature I thought when I first got it. I absolutely hate it now. The spring-loaded shooter shot out because I accidentally touched the engine trying to move them all, you know, to be a little straight on. But you can kind of see the displayability with the X-Wing. It's okay. Like, it's not bad. It does have the landing gear on it, which makes it sit up off the table a little bit. And it looks pretty good. Like, there's nothing wrong with buying a $50 thing that you're just going to display, especially as an adult. Now, as a kid, I'm pretty sure they're going to want to play with it. But we'll get into the playability part later. But it looks good to me. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. You can display it kind of however you want. Straight on looks okay. Not really in the camera, but in person it looks better to me. Turning it to this side, it looks good. And if you can get some, like, you know, if you're one of those people that have a lot of the extra, like, blocks, you can get them clear studs and put it on, like, a base and actually display it, you know, like, with the S-foils out. And then if you drop it back down, it's going to land. Of course, watch my video. I talk about that too. My review video on it, I mean. Now, moving on to the N-1. If I move this X-Wing out of the way a little bit. The N-1 here looks okay as a display piece. But at the same time, like, straight on, it does not look good. Does not look good. Like, it looks okay, but it's not like the best thing in the world when it's straight on. Now, to the side, it actually looks okay. I do wish they would have, like, added in, like, a little bit of landing gear to have it just sit up a little bit. Like, I think that would have made it look a little bit better. But all in all, still not bad. Still think the X-Wing is going to be your best bet for displayability before you spend the money to get this one for displayability. Unless, again, you're going to take those clear blocks and kind of have it, you know, sitting up like it's flying in some sort of way. And then knocking those two out of the way a little bit further, we're going to talk about the TIE Fighter. Now, the TIE Fighter, it's a small build. It's nothing like really impressive. Of course, you can't display it this way because then you're kind of blocking the whole view. But I think straight on, it looks like a TIE Fighter and it looks good. Side, kind of to the side, you know, like this, it looks good. And again, if you get those clear blocks and kind of have it sitting off the ground a little bit, it looks good either way. Now, of course, you know, you're not going to display it probably like this because you got the spring-loaded shooters you can see here, and why would you display a TIE Fighter backwards? But if you can get those clear blocks and, like, set it up, I feel like it would look amazing. So I'd actually have to say in this little battle of which one you should buy if you're going off displayability, I'm going to go with the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter. I just think they look better when it comes to displayability. And they're, well, they're cheaper to get a nice little display model. So bringing the X-Wing back in, I mean, you can see, like, looking at them, I'd have to go with the X-Wing on this as well, giving it a point over the other two. I just think that the X-Wing looks better as a display model. You got more here to work with. Like, you can do more with it. You, like, straight on, maybe not as much compared to the TIE Fighter. But if you wanted to display it from the back, maybe put them on those blocks I was talking about and have the S-foils out, it's going to look, if I can get my hand out of the view, it's going to look pretty good. Like, you're going to be able to tell that's an X-Wing. As where the TIE Fighter, I guess you can still tell it's a TIE Fighter, but it just doesn't look as good to me from the back. But yeah, I think it would have to definitely go to the X-Wing on this category as well, just because of the way it looks. Like, I mean, you can look at it right here, both of them together, kind of a side-by-side type view. The X-Wing just looks more prominent. It looks like something somebody could come in and go, hey, that's a cool X-Wing, compared to, oh, that's a TIE Fighter. So, getting them set back up a little bit. And giving that point to the X-Wing as well. So, right now, the X-Wing is leading with the which should you buy. It's just the way it's kind of working out. I'm sure that, so there's 3 other ships that I want to get to and do this with, by the way. There's the Imperial Shuttle, Boba Fett's starship, or well, Slave 1 in my mind, but his starship, and the Mandalorian Starfighter. And then I might do them with these as whoever wins this little bout, like do the winners versus the winner, and make another video like that. But moving on to the playability, which y'all will give me 1 second. I gotta find a spring-loaded shooter. All right, so now that I've got that in hand, it shot halfway across the room. Put that back into this one. Now with that's also a good point on displayability when it comes to the spring-loaded shooters, by the way. This one's really hidden, which I do like the fact that it's hidden compared to these two where you can see it on the wing there and it kind of pokes out the back right there. And the same way with this one is it's got the little green there, and then if you turn it around, you got the green little shooters coming out the back. But even with it being hidden, I still think for your money, the X-Wing, like, you can always just take those out if you wanted to. Like, they're not really a big feature if you're into, like, modding or anything like that. But either way, the playability on these 3 are pretty much going to be the same. Like, you got a couple of spring-loaded shooters in the TIE Fighter, and it also, you know, opens up and you've got your cockpit on the inside to put a figure, if you really want to count that as playability. With the X-Wing, you've got the cockpit for Luke that opens up, which maybe I should do more of this. You got your little place for R2-D2 to go in over here, and we'll throw Luke in to his little seat so you can, you know, get the full you know, experience of the playability here. Again, if you want to count cockpits as playability. And then Luke and R2-D2 go in the back there. And then as well with this, you got the ability to have it in, you know, flight mode, or open up the S-foils to attack mode. And then as, whoops, well, that broke off, so that's a little downside to it. But, and as always, you do have a, I can't remember how these shoot out. Boom, a spring-loaded shooter. Guess I figured it out pretty quick. on both sides as well. So with that, now again, I'm going to go back to this one just to kind of show you. You do have the cockpit there that you can take your TIE fighter pilot. So this only has one section to put a minifig in, and there is also no, like, I don't know how well you can see that because everything's so dark in this one, but there is no studs down there for the TIE fighter pilot to actually fit his legs in. I might have built it wrong and meant to put it with the studs there, but I didn't, and I haven't gone back to see if I did or not. And he kind of just sits in there. You close it on up, and there's your TIE fighter pilot on the inside. He does rattle around a little bit, if you can hear that. And as always, the spring-loaded shooters are on the back that will fire off and hit me in the chest. And slapping that back in to get to the Mandalorian. So with the Mandalorians, you have pretty much the same type of feature you have on the X-Wing, except with one specific part. If you want to call it a play feature, it could be a display feature. Maybe I needed to add that into both categories, but you have this little secret compartment here that opens up. As you can see inside of there, there's little empty space, and that is for the Darksaber and the backpack. So taking all that off is where Luke's lightsaber is just kind of strung over here because there's nowhere to really put it on the X-Wing, at least not that I know of. And now my whole camera and everything's trying to fall, and I shot out the spring-loaded shooter and took out, it looks like the BD droid. No, it was Pelimoto. Got creamed and knocked onto the floor. But sorry about that weird little shaking of the camera. Did not mean for that to happen. But you put that stuff in there, you close it back up, and now you have room to put your Mando figure, or Din Djarin, whatever you want to call him, into the cockpit here. Without his jetpack on and without the Darksaber in his hand. He closes right up in there. And I just broke that off. So that's the first time I've actually broke that off. So I'm not going to count that as a flaw of the set. You take your little Grogu, the child, Baby Yoda, whatever you want to call him. Stick him in his little bowl here. And there you go. You got your Mando and Baby Yoda in the actual N-1. But now you don't have any space for the BD droid or Pelimoto. But it's the same with the TIE fighter. You still got these two characters left over and nowhere to put the blaster from your TIE fighter pilot, unless you kind of want to, you know, throw it into your droid's hand just for him to hold it while the pilot's actually piloting. And for this one, you've got, you know, two leftover figures as well. And for the X-Wing, you've got General Dodonna and Princess Leia left over with nowhere to go. Plus Luke's lightsaber, unless I guess you want it to do the same thing. And like, hey, Leia, you're a Jedi in the original trilogy now. Like, so you kind of get a little bit more out of the N1 as far as storage goes. But not really going to count this for storage. Now, the actual, like, play feature on this is if you push down on the little printed or sticker engine part here, which you've probably seen 5 times since I started this video, you are going to shoot out the spring-loaded shooter and take out Pelimoto there again. So with playability, I'm going to have to really give it to... It's going to have to be in between the let's see. We'll go with the N-1 and the X-Wing. I just feel like, I guess with the TIE Fighter, another little playability that I didn't mention is if you really wanted to have like a destroyed TIE Fighter and you were a kid, you would probably do this. These wings kind of pop off kind of easy, and you can have it as like a down TIE Fighter. But that's just kind of breaking it and putting it back together just because you want that play feature. It's not meant to be a play feature. Now I can't get the wing back on. So, come on, it's just Technic pieces. Why can't I get this back on? There we go. But other than that, I just can't really give it to the TIE Fighter. Like, you've got room for one character. You've got 2 spring-loaded shooters, yes, but that's about it with it. Like, your other characters are just kind of thrown about wherever. Like, I don't even really know why. I guess if you wanted to make, like, your own little Imperial, like, hangar, these 2 characters make sense. But other than that, they really don't make any sense to have, like, a Stormtrooper and this little droid here. Like, there's nowhere to put them. There's nothing to really do with them. There's nobody for them to fight other than each other in this set. Now, the thing with the playability on all these sets are, if you manage to get to, which this video is not really about, it's about which one, not 2, you should buy. If you manage to get to, the playability increases with having the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter because they're both from the same era. Both from the original trilogy. You can fly them around, have them fight each other. And the N-1, I guess you can do that with the N-1 as well, but it really doesn't make too much sense. And, you know, like, why is Mando going to be fighting Luke? Because I know he does run into some rebels in the shows. Or I guess they're not rebels at that time, but you get what I'm saying. And I guess you can have him fight the TIE Fighter, but as far as I know, the only TIE Fighter that you've seen in The Mandalorian so far, if I'm not mistaken, is Moff Gideon's. That's the only one you've really ever seen. So, yeah, again, that's not really the point of this video, but if you manage to get the 2 cheaper ones, then yeah, you can have them 2 fight each other, which adds to the playability. But when it comes to buying just one, it would have to be between these 2. And really on this one, I think I would have to give it to the N-1 just because of the storage to put your stuff in, so that when you're done flying it around, you can just pop the stuff out, put it on your characters, and you're good to go. Rather than this one where you might end up losing the lightsaber at some point because kid puts it down, plays with the ship flying around, forgets where he puts it, and you find it, you know, 5 weeks later inside of your couch cushion. Like, you know, who knows? So I'd have to give this one, other than that spring-loaded shooter, I absolutely do not like that, but I'm sure a kid will because I keep accidentally hitting it. But other than that, I'm pretty sure, as far as I go, in my opinion, the N-1 has to take the cake on the playability, as where the X-Wing gets the point and the other 2. Just because of the storage space and the fact that you've got the part on the engine you push down and it shoots out the spring-loaded shooter instead of just having it on the back of the wings. Now, moving on from playability, as I've already kind of talked about, the price of each of these varies. Now, of course, the price per piece count is going to have to go automatically to the TIE Fighter. Put their little minifigures back where they go. Is going to have to absolutely go to the TIE Fighter automatically. Just because if you do my math on it, every $10 is 100 pieces. The TIE Fighter comes with 432 with 3 minifigs for $40. So the price per piece is already there with the $40. Like, you're getting the minifigs for free, in my opinion. The X-Wing, I had to add in the $5 for the minifigures to really get it to the price. Because to me, it doesn't make sense unless you do it that way, that it's $50. The piece count is $474. You're 30 pieces away from the actual price. If you wanted to make it like $45 instead of $50, I would have been like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense to me, but they've got it marked at $50. Now, again, like I said, got those 2 on sale, but Lego.com prices is 50 and 40. So I think the TIE Fighter wins against the X-Wing in price. And the N-1 is 60, and even with the minifigs at 412 pieces, it just doesn't make sense to be 60 bucks. It should have been 50 like the X-Wing, since it comes with less pieces and the same amount of characters. Like, it just should have been. It should not have been $60. Like, I don't really know. I know what Lego is trying to do, because Mandalorian is really popular compared to the older series, or the older trilogies. Mandalorian has gained so much popularity in the last, like, couple of years that it's been coming on, that they knew that if they put this out for 60 bucks versus the X-Wing that's 50 bucks, they can get that extra $10 for less pieces and the same amount of minifigures. They knew they could do it. There's nothing in my mind that you can change to say that this one should be more than this one. They should have been the exact same price across the board at 50 bucks. So I have to give this one just automatically to the TIE Fighter for the piece count when it comes to price. And then piece count, we've already kind of talked about. The piece count automatically goes to the X-Wing because it's the highest amount of pieces. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's worth the piece count. But it has to automatically get the piece count just because it's got almost 500 pieces compared to under 450 pieces, and with the TIE Fighter, and then just over 400 pieces for the N-1. So I kind of got my little sheet here that I was just keeping track of the tally marks for each little category that I did. And doing it with that, the X-Wing comes out in first place with 3 points in 3 different categories. Where the N-1 I think is best for playability if you want to get a play set. And the TIE Fighter is by far the best on price. But the X-Wing has more pieces, has better minifigs, and has a better displayability, in my opinion. Now, this is my opinion. You can disagree all you want, but this is my opinion. For the 50 bucks compared to, the N-1 that's 60 bucks, I could only give that 1 point in playability. Like, it's just too expensive for the piece count and for the price. Like, it's just not all there. And for the minifigs and the displayability, there's just not really that much there. Do I like it? I like all 3 of these sets. There's nothing wrong with any of these 3 sets. They're all really good sets. I think Lego did a good job at putting the details into the N-1 that they should have, into the X-Wing they should have, and then into the TIE Fighter they should have. But this video is about picking one, not all 3. If you can only pick one, and this is the amount of money you have, what should you go ahead and buy? So I think it would have to go winner kind of hands down to the X-Wing. Even though you don't have that storage place for your lightsaber, you still got 2 places to put 2 characters, and you got 2 spring-loaded shooters compared to 1. You can put the S-foils, into attack mode. Like, to me, this is just overall the better set. It looks good displayed. It's actually a really decent set. It has a little function, like I said, to drop the S-foils down to attack mode. The laser cannons, or whatever you want to call it, the laser blasters on the side look really good. It does come with a few stickers, but it gives the detail on the wings here that look really nice. And then on the front, it looks really good. The front, they did a really good job on with those pieces of making it, give it that kind of pointy shape on the front. It has landing gear, so it kind of sits up off the table or whatever you decide to display it on. The thrusters look really good back here with those little pinkish purple little cylinder blocks there, or cylinder studs there. Even with all the stickers, and if y'all have watched my other videos, y'all know I hate stickers. And then, you got your printed piece on the inside here. If it gets into the light better. Let's see if I turn it this way. Yeah, there you go. You got your little printed piece there. If you watched my review on this, you know I think the Luke is absolutely stunning for these sets compared to, you know, the Luke I had as a kid. Now that I'm getting back into Lego, where, you know, yellow body, crappy chest print, crappy back print. If it even had a back print, I don't remember now. But all in all, this is a decent build. Like, I absolutely love this build. It is nice. It is good for displaying. It is good for playing. It's, you know, I mean, it had to come in second place on the playability. So it's still not like it sucks at being a play feature and it can only be a display feature. It's good for both. It was just, I think this is better. The N-1 Starfighter is better for playability than this, but it still got good playability with being able to, like, I mean, it was like a really, really close second because you can, you know, lift up the S-foils, you can shoot off the spring-loaded shooters, and put R2-D2 in the back like he is in the movies. And I'm pretty sure they showed him on The Mandalorian too in one of the final episodes, I think, of the second season. I think it was the second season. But yeah, guys, like, that's pretty much going to do it. I do highly suggest that if you can pick up all three of these sets to do them, they all are really good sets. But if you have to choose, I think that the X-Wing is absolutely the best, coming in, you know, a marginal first place. And then kind of tied for second place is the TIE Fighter and the N-1 with 1 point apiece and shooting that stud shooter off again. I'm going to end up losing that. Probably another thing with the playability, you're going to have kids lose the stud shooters. But all in all three good sets. If you can pick up all three, I suggest you do it. They're really nice sets. If you can find the TIE Fighter in stock, I don't know if it's getting ready to retire or what, but it's always out of stock. I just happened to find one in my local Walmart. The X-Wing is also kind of hard to find in my local Walmart. I'm sure other places, like bigger stores, probably got massive amounts of them, but for me, it was hard to find. And this one's actually, it used to be listed as hard to find on Lego. I don't know if it still is on Lego.com. I didn't check for that when I looked up all the stuff, like the piece counts and all that for them. But yeah, guys, I'm going to call this quits. Like I said, X-Wing first place, TIE Fighter to N-1 second. If I had to give a second place to one of them, I'd probably give it straight to the N-1 and then the TIE Fighter in third. So if you were going to pick these up, I would first buy the X-Wing, then the N-1, and then the TIE Fighter. But yeah, guys, I'm going to call this video done. Like, hopefully you liked it. If you did, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will catch you on the next one.